like I said, and thank you for helping us pass 9,000 subscriber video. Today we're going home. Everything's all packed up. We're actually getting on the road right now. Today I have another story to tell from here in Alabama. It's actually going to be in my hometown, Montgomery. That's where we're headed now.
The greatest artists in the world you'll never see because they're so sensitive.
We're gonna go back in time just a little bit today for this story. We are home. We're back in Montgomery. I've gotten everybody else taken care of to the house. Amy's in the bed. And now I've gotten back out again because, like I said before we left Dothan, there was a story here in my hometown of Montgomery. It's an amazing story that I wanted to share with all of you. We're going back to the 1950s for this episode. 1950, right here in Montgomery, Alabama, there was a woman by the name of Rhonda Belle Martin. She was a waitress at a very popular diner here in town. Right here behind me you can see that now it is an Advanced Auto Parts, but it was not always an auto parts store. In fact, it was a diner, a very popular diner here in Montgomery in the 50s, and Rhonda Martin was a waitress there. Right here on this lot where this Advanced Auto Parts is. Her and a beau of hers named Claude fell in love. One day, Claude brings his son in, who was in the military, to meet Rhonda at the diner where she worked. Shortly thereafter, Rhonda and Claude were married, and they settled into life here in Montgomery. She continued to work at the diner. You know, I'm not exactly sure what Claude did. Only 1 year after being married, though, Claude fell deathly ill. Uncontrolled vomiting and horrible stomach cramps. Claude Carol Martin passed away, and no one knew what it was. It was a mystery illness. This is where it starts getting even stranger, though. The entire time that he was sick, Claude stayed by his side. A loving wife. She, gave him cold compresses and tried to get him to drink some soup. She was right there by his side the whole time. Once he passed away, though, she was never grief-stricken at all. It was almost like it was another day for her after he passed away. And a lot of people thought that was odd, but it did not throw up any red flags for anyone here in this entire giant city that is Montgomery. Within months of Claude's death, Rhonda and Claude's son, Rhonda's stepson, became involved. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Within 8 months of his father's death, Rhonda married her stepson. Within 8 months, Ron, who went by Bud, so we'll call him Bud. Bud and Rhonda were married for 4 years, and then all of a sudden, Bud come down with a mystery illness too. The same thing that troubled his father. Upset stomach, uncontrolled vomiting. The only difference was, 5 years almost had passed. Medical advances made leaps and bounds in that amount of time. Using a piece of Ronald's hair, they were able to determine that he was suffering from arsenic poisoning. Thus, they were able to treat him for it. He lived. He was paralyzed. He was a quadriplegic for the rest of his life, but he lived. When they found out that he was suffering from arsenic poisoning, the Montgomery Police Department investigators started a silent investigation on Rhonda. When the Montgomery Police Department began investigating Rhonda, they cannot believe what they find. It turns out that everyone in Rhonda's life, everyone around her, gets a mystery illness and dies. And we're not talking about just 2 people here. We're talking about quite a few. You see, they discovered that in 1937, she was married to a man named George Garrett. Rhonda and George had 3 children together. Rhonda's very first victim was her own child. Ellen Elizabeth Garrett. She killed her own child, but she didn't stop. She obviously enjoyed it. Her second victim was her then husband at the time, George W. Garrett. Next up on her victim list was her 6-year-old daughter, Anne. Next up on her victim list came 3 years later, and it was her eldest daughter. After she had killed her entire family, she then turned her attention towards her mom. Her mom lived up in Birmingham. She drove up to Birmingham. She poisoned her with arsenic too, put it in her coffee. Her mom drank the coffee, and her mom passed away. Within 7 years, she had successfully killed her entire family, her husband, her mom, and all 3 daughters. No one suspected anything. No one from Montgomery, no one questioned it, no one suspected. It was after she killed her oldest daughter when she met Claude, who was her 6th and final victim. And then, like I told you, she tried to take out Claude's son, but her attempt failed. Fast forward back into the 50s again, and the Montgomery Police Department arrest Rhonda Martin. They bring her right here into the Montgomery Police Department headquarters, where she confesses to killing 2 husbands, 3 children, and her mom. But she couldn't explain to them why she did it. She couldn't tell them what possessed her to do that. But she did tell the police that she liked it, she enjoyed killing her family, and that no one is safe unless they lock her up. She openly told them, if I ever get out of prison, I will do it again. So Montgomery gave her the death penalty. On October the 11th of 1957, Rhonda Martin was executed by the state of Alabama at Kilby Penitentiary right here in Montgomery, Alabama. She requested for her last meal, she requested a hamburger, mashed potatoes, a cup of coffee, and some cinnamon rolls. She wanted to leave something behind though. So shortly after her execution, prison officials who were removing her belongings found a note inside of her Bible. The note said that she wanted her body donated to science. More specifically, she wanted them to study her brain to find out why she killed all of her family, why she enjoyed it, and why she couldn't stop. Her body is buried in an unmarked grave just up the road from here. That brings us to Montgomery Memorial Cemetery here in Montgomery, Alabama. Not only is Rhonda Belle Martin buried here, but so are some of her victims. Rhonda is buried in an unmarked grave. It says just here to the right of her very first victim, buried right here. They buried her in an unmarked grave because if you get executed by the state, unless the family pays for it, in this case the family obviously wasn't going to pay for it because she had just about killed them all, so the family did not provide a headstone for her. But according to the cemetery records, she's buried right there. That is gonna do it for the story of Rhonda Belle Martin, the serial killer or Black Widow of Montgomery, Alabama. Man, it's been a hot day, really hot. I am pouring sweat right now, so I'm gonna end this one. I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to help support the channel and some of our future travels, check out the description box below. There's a few links down there you can see. As always, I thank you all so much for watching this video and supporting this channel. You just don't know how much it means to me. I'll see you again tomorrow, and I hope you have a great day.
The greatest artist in the world.